You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? It is your boy Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. What an episode today, guys. Just got the news a few hours ago, or actually the confirmation, and that is Dragon Ball Super returning sooner than I fucking thought, and it's coming back in July. Now, the day is a little hazy. There is no actual exact day, but it is confirmed that July 2019, Dragon Ball Super is coming back. Oh my God, I'm so crunk. I'm so hype. I'm ready. Long time coming, man. It's great news. If you're a Dragon Ball fan like me, you gotta love this news, man. If you would have asked me this last week, I probably would have told you the tail end of 2019 when we'd probably see something from Dragon Ball. But hey, July is a breath of fresh air, and I'm happy to be announcing this to you guys. Yeah, man. It's so great. I had to, start the show by announcing that real quick. Got some other Dragon Ball stuff to talk about a little bit later, and let's get started with the show. Got a few things to talk about, man, besides Dragon Ball. And one of those things is what's been going on with this Google. I don't want to say fiasco because that's the wrong word to say, but Google is, if you guys remember me talking about it in previous podcasts, they're trying to put their hat in the ring as far as consoles are concerned, man, going forward. So they want to be a competitor in the video game market, in the video game scene. And now it's been pretty much confirmed that they are working with SEGA, moving forward. And I did mention on the last podcast that they have an upcoming announcement, which is coming out March 19th, guys. It's right around the fucking corner. They're having a press conference. They're going to be talking about, what they're bringing to the table. I can only, speculate on what's going to happen, but I don't know, man. The Sega thing, it kind of got me excited because I'm a big Sega fanboy, and I thought Sega would never ever have a chance or put out another console again, you know what I mean? And now listening to that, hearing that news, it's got me very, very excited, man. And I can't wait to see what they're going to show us, man. That's going to determine a lot moving forward, going down the line. I got faith in Google. I have faith in Sega, and I think they're going to do something nice, man. I really do. I have them putting out something amazing. Now, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what I hope for these guys to happen. As far as what they're doing right now, something I didn't even know until digging into it a little bit, is that they actually already have something. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is basically free to a select few individuals who actually have something called Project Stream, which is basically PC owners, PC games, whatever. So they're basically trying to convert certain games, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey is one of those games, for testing. They're converting them for testing to see how it plays on this Project Stream thing. And this is like maybe a few weeks old, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know what is going to all be, talked about at this upcoming event on the 19th, but I'm sure they'll be mentioning something about this. But I'm really anxious to see what this console's going to be looking like. There are pictures already out right now. The controller, I think, in the box right now. Who knows what will change when that happens. when 19 comes around, but I'm anxious to see how that is going to turn out. I'll have more on that for you guys next week on the next podcast, and I'll definitely be tackling that and what was covered and what was talked about. And Ubisoft is also going to be joining these guys, man. Yes, Ubisoft, and also a company called ID Software. These guys are basically the ones who put together the last Doom game, Doom creators, I guess, if you will. They'll be joining SEGA and Google at this press conference. So that's going to be interesting because Ubisoft is like, if you don't know, Ubisoft is a major, major company. And I'm going to talk more about Ubisoft a little bit later because I've been playing something, man, something amazing. Probably one of my favorite games in a long time. And I've said this before. I know I've said this before, but it's almost a good thing though. If I keep saying that every time I play it, every other game I play, I'm saying that, that's a good thing, man. That means that there's a lot of good games out here to be played and discovered. And I felt like I found a beautiful game that is definitely going to be put on that top shelf when it comes to, the creme de la creme of my selection, video games, man. And I'll get into that in a second. Definitely caught me off guard, and I'll definitely break that down and get into that in a minute as well. But yeah, man, I just thought I'd mention, what's going on with Sega and Google, man. That joining forces, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I guess you can't keep Sega down. You know what I mean? They found a way to get back in. They've been publishing games for a while now. A lot of dope games, actually, they have had their hands in. So Sega's doing some good things, and they've done what they needed to do to stay relevant in this market, in this industry. So hats off to Sega, man, and Google. I'm gonna definitely be pulling for these guys because I said it before and I'll say it again. If they come with the real shit, then I might have to be picking up one of these consoles, man. Don't get it twisted though. Sony is still that one, and I'll definitely be forever a Sony fan. Until they prove me otherwise. And I have complete faith in Sony moving forward as well. I'll definitely be getting a PS5, but that next system, that sidekick system, or just that one other system that you have to have, Google could be that machine. You know what I mean? Nintendo Switch is already on the table. I already have that. So, let's see what happens. And then we got the whole thing with Microsoft, and their streaming service. So, you can stream, Xbox games on, Nintendo Switch. Hey, you got pretty much all the eggs in one basket and you're good. It's everything but PC. You know what I'm saying? You're golden. You're straight. You're set. So, I'm anxious, man. I'm just really anxious right now. And it's really good and feels good to be a gamer. And, yeah, man, I just had to share that with you guys. Thought I'd share that with you. What's next on the list, man? I kind of want to get into, I guess I'm going to leave Dragon Ball for the end of the show. So I guess I can jump into, a little bit of Ubisoft right now and what I have been doing and playing, because last week I told you guys I was really into Far Cry 5. And that was a game that, I didn't think I was going to like as much as I did. That is an Ubisoft title. And I had to take a seat back and really, look at what I've been doing and playing. And you know what? Ubisoft has been one of my favorite, video game companies that I never knew about. It was sitting under my nose this whole time. And I sat there and looked at my library, what I had, what I've played in the past, and what they've been doing and what they've been making. And I just like, if they took Ubisoft off the table right now, I'd be upset. I'd be in my feelings, man. A lot of us would be kind of hurting right now. They're responsible for a lot of fucking things, man. They've done the Splinter Cell series. That's a major one, especially last gen consoles. Splinter Cell was like that guy. Sam Fisher was that dude, man. The Division, Far Cry series, the Assassin's Creed series, Starlink, Rainbow Six, another great series, which I, adore. Prince of Persia, and the list goes on and on and on, man. Ubisoft has been there, done that, and still doing it. And I say still doing it because the game I'm currently playing right now, guys, is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And when I say that this fucking game is like so good, so good, I mean that, man. I also have Assassin's Creed Origins, and I didn't finish that game. I didn't even get close. I probably got 25% completion of that game. I don't know why. I don't remember why I stopped playing. Oh yeah, I do. God of War. That's the game I was playing when God of War came out, and then I just sunk all my time into God of War. And then by the time I finished God of War, I had moved on, and it just got put to the side for I'll come back to later. You know what I mean? You playing the game and you stop playing for whatever reason, and you always say I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna when the time is right, and you end up never getting back to it for whatever reason, and that happened to Assassin's Creed Origin. It was an awesome game. Don't get it twisted. I loved Origins, everything about it. But I'm a sucker for Greek and Norse mythology. I love that, especially after playing God of War. It just really got me into it. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I can't believe I had not played this yet. And I heard everybody saying that the game was all of that. The game was this, that was that. Just 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. You know what I mean? It has to be played, especially, somebody like me who loves his third person open world RPG games, right? Because we know Assassin's Creed was never an RPG game back in the day. I mean, really, as early as Assassin's Creed Origins, that was the first take on RPG elements in an Assassin's Creed game, and it worked. And when they announced Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it kind of turned me off because Origins had just came out not too long ago, and I was like, wow, they just put out Origins not too long ago, and now they got this one. But then as I did a little more research on what they did, they basically, developed both of the games side by side. This was all a plan for them. You know what I mean? And I guess they were banking off the fact that Origins would do well. And if it did do well, then they can go ahead and press play on, Odyssey, and, it would kick ass as well. But what turned me off was the fact that, Origins just came out. It was a similar kind of game. The games are huge. Origins was fucking huge. Odyssey is fucking even a little bit bigger, and so much to fucking do. The average person would get, intimidated by all that real estate in that fucking game. Those games they're crazy, crazy big, but that's a good thing for me. It's just that, I just thought I thought they were, for a minute, I thought they were, money grabbing. And let's keep it real. Ubisoft has always been known in these video game streets for microtransactions. Okay. I mean, you got Uplay and that whole fiasco. I don't really participate in that too much. The cool thing about Uplay is, I will say, is that they reward you for playing their games. So, you rack up all these points by playing their games, and then you could use it for whatever. That's the only reason I would use that. I would never really buy anything with their microtransactions. Now, I will support Ubisoft and buy their titles and play their titles, but I'm not going to go any further than that. Excuse me. That's just it. You know what I mean? But it just kind of turned me off because the game just came out not too long after Origins, and I thought that it was going to be some of the same old, and usually that's what it boils down to most of the time. Your company put out a game, and then a year later, and maybe even less than that, they put out another one, and you're just like, okay, this is just the same game with just a different skin slapped on it. That's what I thought, and that's what a lot of people probably thought, until you sit down and play it. Until you sit down and play it and realize that it is not that. And elements were changed, and it's a different game. It still has those RPG elements, but they even make it more of an RPG now than even Origins was. And then you start to realize, though, they really knew what the fuck they were doing. And Ubisoft has a great track record with titles. They really do. They have a lot of IPs on that everybody knows about, that everybody's played something of their games or whatever. So you have to respect Ubisoft, man. And I really, really have to pay homage to these guys after playing Odyssey. I mean, I'm really, really early still in the game, even though I've already hung 35 hours in this game since the last podcast, easily 35 hours, in this game already. And I'm only at I think the cap is 50. the level system, and I'm just approaching 19, and and having a blast doing it. I mean, it is definitely a grind fest, but I'm a grinder. I've said it before, I love grinding in RPG games, and especially if you play something and it you don't feel like it's grinding, because you kind of the people, the characters, the way the script was written for the characters and everything like that. When you play it, and it's so good that you don't even notice that. I mean, that's what this game is presenting to me. That's what how this game makes me feel. To me, this game right now, if I had to put a grade on it right now, it's almost perfect for me. It's like a 9.5 right now. I mean, it is extremely good, man. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. And I think, the crazy thing about all of it is that I never saw it coming. It's always better when you never see it coming, isn't it? When you're playing something or you're watching something and you didn't see it coming. You didn't know it was going to be that fucking good. You didn't know it was going to knock you off your feet. And that is the best feeling in the world. I told myself, I mean, I don't know how many times I sat back and I was just like, yo, this shit is awesome. Every time something happened or a new mission or quest came up, and it's the way it was done, like I just couldn't believe it. Even when I was playing the game, when I first started playing it, when you first start out on that one island and you meet some of the characters that you meet, and I'm thinking, okay, it's pretty good. You know what I mean? And I played that part of the game for maybe easily 4 or 5 hours. And then when I finally get off the island, that's when the fucking credits, the introduction credits start rolling. Like, the game didn't even officially even start yet. And I'm like, what? It didn't even start yet. It was so brilliant the way that they introduced. They basically, let you kind of run wild and do your thing on this island just to get a feel for the game and how everything worked. And then they kind of set you free. I love that about this game, how they did that. And there's so much more. I mean, it's cosmetics. Oh my God. You know what I mean? The armor and the detail in all of the equipment and things of that nature, the mixing and matching of certain things. I mean, and like I said, I haven't even got into like a lot of the stuff that you can even still do, because I'm still earlier in the game. You know what I mean? But, I'm not one of those guys that's just going to run through something to get to the end of the story, especially in a game like this. I'm going to bask in the ambiance, man. I'm going to enjoy all the nooks and crannies, and I'm just going to, I'm going to grind and level up. I love this game. I love this game, and I'm so glad that I bought it. I'm so glad that I was broke enough to not buy The Division 2, which was my initial plan, because I had that bullshit happen, that fiasco with the fucking tolls that I had to pay all this fucking money to get my registration, all this shit. And that's why it fucked up my game budget for, this next couple of months. But that's here nor there. I went to the bargain bin and got this highly recommended game. People have been telling me about it. I was eventually going to get it. But it came sooner than later, technically later than sooner, because the game's been out for about 5 months now. But, I'm so happy I got this game and added it to the collection. I'm having a ball with it. I mean, that's all I can think about is this game right now, man. It is crazy good. And if you haven't played it, man, you need to play it. You need to check it out. It's not a very expensive game now. You can get it for $30. I think there was a sale on it not too long ago for $20. I mean, pick it up, man. Give it a shot. If you like open world RPG games, this is definitely something you would enjoy. If you love, the Greek mythology and all of that, you would definitely love this game. The character, and they also give you 2 characters to start with. You can play as the male character, or you can play as the female character, which are brother and sister in this game. And I chose to play Cassandra, the female, because I wanted to do something different. You know what I mean? I wanted to approach it, something different, because usually I typically pick the guy character if given a choice or whatever. And I don't know. And I'm glad that I did that, because her character is a lot richer, in my opinion, than him. I mean, maybe it's just the voice acting on her or something. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying the way her playing her character in this game. I don't know, man. She's one of my favorite gaming characters in a long time, since Kratos. Really, really, really interesting. And I'm like, I cannot wait to find out more about her and that world, man. It's crazy. I mean, I'm literally, have my PlayStation, on pause right now, to get back in here. I just completed another quest, and I'm itching to get back at it. So I had to, talk about this game. It's an amazing game. And if you guys haven't played it, I'll say it one more time. Please give it a shot. If you don't buy it now, I mean, please eventually put this in your library. You will not be sorry. All right, guys. Enough of that. While we're talking about games, though, real quick, and before I get into this, Dragon Ball stuff, man, this is actually part of a Dragon Ball conversation, but it's about Dragon Ball Fighters, and I have to, express my frustration and a lot of people's frustration out here in these Dragon Ball streets when it comes to Dragon Ball Fighters, because one of the other characters have been announced. The DLC characters, man. And you're not going to believe it if you haven't heard already who this character is. It's Kid Goku. Kid Goku from Dragon Ball GT. When I saw that, I almost shit on myself in disgust. In disgust. Not delight, in disgust. Because I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. I'm so tired of this shit. I don't understand who's making these decisions. I would love to know who made the decision to push play on this character. I really would, man. GT of all things, number one. Okay. We're not talking about Super Baby Vegeta or, Super Saiyan 4, Goku or Vegeta. We're not talking about them. We're talking about kid base form Goku from fucking GT. Okay. It's not even enough that we have so many fucking Gokus in the game already. Why the fuck would you do this? Why? Why would you put this character in this game, man? It's so many other characters, man. God damn it, Master Roshi. You can pick characters from, you thought they were sticking to the G code as far as, the character selection, because they were pulling characters from Dragon Ball Super. You know what I mean? Out. So what are these guys doing? I don't understand it. That is the worst. That is so bad. That is so bad. And I'm not trying to be a hater with Videl, because Videl was actually a nice character, added to the roster the way they made her and put her in there with Great Saiyaman and all that. I thought that was very cool. But even her, I felt that, she cut the line. She cut in front of Master Roshi. She cut in front of, Ribrianna, who could have been in the game, which I know a lot of people hate. But, if you're talking about Dragon Ball Super, I mean, come on, man. There's other characters. You could have put Toppo in there. I mean, there's so many other characters that could have, been in this game or deserved a slot or more relevant. I mean, even if you didn't want to go the super route, you could have went, just Dragon Ball Z. You could have went with a plethora of different characters, man. You could have went Pycon. You could have did so many different things, man. And you did not, Janemba. You could have did. I mean, what the fuck? Come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm just at a loss for words right now. I'm very upset, man. I feel like fucking Drake. I'm upset. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was bamboozled right now. This character, come on, man. I would really love to know who made that decision. So it doesn't look like we're going to get Roshi in this game, man. I don't know. I mean, hopefully there's a season 3. I don't know. I hope there is. But it doesn't look good. He was in the tournament. He was relevant in the tournament. Master Roshi has always been technically an OG in the series. I mean, he's responsible for Goku's fighting style, Krillin's fighting style. You know what I mean? Tien's, to a certain degree, fighting style. All the Z team for the most part. He's a, pillar in the Dragon Ball community as far as characters are concerned, and he's not in this game. You could have did so much with Roshi. I mean, his Kamehameha, where he changes his form and he buffs up and he does it's so many things, ideas you could have went into just, with Roshi. They just chose not to do that. I mean, come on, man. I just knew Roshi was going to make the cut. He still may. It's a small chance, but by what I'm looking at this roster, man, they just coming left field with this shit. They're coming from like Mars with this shit. Videl, nobody. You can't tell me that anybody saw Videl coming. Most people had their minds set on Dragon Ball Super. or, a relevant character. Nobody saw Videl coming. And just like nobody fucking saw this character coming. It sucks. I'm sorry I had to say it. It sucks. And I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I had to vent my frustration on that. I'm gonna leave it alone and walk away now, because I did get Jiren, and you guys know I love Jiren. He's right up there under my boy Vegeta, Tien Shinhan, and Frieza, those guys. So it's not all bad, but that roster is, the tail end of this roster is gonna be straight ass. I'm gonna fuck with Brawly, the new Brawly, but other than that, I don't. I don't know, man. I've lost hope in this DLC shit, man. We'll see. Anyway, moving along to better news. Dragon Ball Super is returning July, 2019. Big things coming, man, for Dragon Ball fans in 2019. We got One Punch Man coming next month to Hulu in April. We've got a lot of things coming, man. I mean, so excited to be a gamer, so excited to be an anime fan and a Dragon Ball fan at that. I wanted to talk a little bit about, what was going on and what's been going on with the manga, as of late with Dragon Ball Superman and the character Moro. Moro is a fucking beast. I'm starting to love Moro that much more, as time goes by and as more I find out about this guy, man. Right now, he was fighting with Goku and Vegeta. He basically ate their lunch. He put them on their fucking backs and basically drained all of their fucking ki, to where they're basically clinging to life. That's pretty much what happened. I mean, now Moro's goal was to get the Dragon Balls so that he could wish for, get his youth back. Now, he specializes in a lot of magic and trickery, but he's also a fighter. In his younger days, he was actually a warrior. He was a fighter first. And after he, pretty much absorbed all of his ki from Vegeta and Goku, man, to his own surprise, that energy that he ate basically was enough to turn him back to his prime, to put him back the way he used to be in his younger days. And I mean, he's cut up now. He's six-packed up. He just looks young. He's not old anymore, and he looks like a fucking beast. And he couldn't even believe it himself. He was like, wow, shit, I don't even need the fucking Dragon Balls now. I can use that shit for something else. But one thing that I caught on the manga, and what a lot of people are talking about in these anime streets, is that the manga is taking a violent turn. It's more of a dark. This arc has a dark feel to it, man, because there's a lot of blood and guts and gore going on, man. Because right now they're on planet Namek, and one of these Nameks ran up on him, and he put his hand right through. He put his hand right through. This Namek, man. Blood was everywhere. He killed him just like that. I mean, he fucked his world up. He really did. He hit him with a Dr. Gero. I mean, that's what he did. Dr. Gero, how he did Yamcha. And it was a mess. Now, it brings me to the question, like, yo, are they going to show this? Are they going to get this graphic in Super, moving forward? I hope they do. I mean, you know what I mean? Now, what they might do is kind of like what they did in Dragon Ball Z back in the day, where they they edited it out or whatever, and then you'd have to buy like the uncut to catch all the realness in there, which I hope they don't do, but it's a 50-50 chance that they're going to do it that way. We'll see. We'll find out. But the manga right now is looking very, very spicy, and I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at on the manga right now. Everybody's in peril. Like it's looking like the chips are stacked up against everybody. Whis and Beerus is staying out of it as usual. But I think they might have to. Somebody's gonna have to jump in here, man. Because right now, I mean, he handled Vegeta and Goku. Just they stepped up to the plate and they were handled accordingly. So excuse me. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I'm anxious to see what is going to happen. It doesn't look good right now for, my boys, Vegeta and Goku and them. It doesn't. So what's going to happen if Beerus and Whis don't jump in? What else is there to do? They could reach out to, possibly reach out to like somebody else, some of the other characters out there, maybe like a Jiren or maybe a Hit or, maybe even Brawly, who knows, man. Time will tell. But now what everybody wants to know is what's going to happen, in the anime. And right now from what I've been reading, great news. The production is looking very, very good right now. Unlike, Dragon Ball Super, when it first came out, they were basically throwing shit together at first, scrambling. And I don't understand why they did that. That was very, very poor decisions made by those guys. But they're cleaning it up this year. Supposedly they've been in production since October of 2018. So they've been working on Dragon Ball Super since October. So that tells you that, number one, the production is going to be on point. In other words, nobody's being rushed. It's not going to be, a sweatshop like it was, when Dragon Ball Super first came out, when the first arcs began to trickle out in these anime streets. And that's good news, man, because it's all about production when it comes to anime and these things. You got to have a tight production schedule. And right now, from Twitter, looking at Twitter and reading and listening to other people who are into the Dragon Ball scene, it looks to be like they're doing what they were supposed to do. And they got all the ducks in a row the right way. Everything's being done copacetically, and I can't wait. They're saying that the animation is going to be just as good as Dragon Ball Z was, because you have that time and you're not being rushed, and you're able to build up on, the animation and the episodes and everything like that, so that you're not sweating, episode to episode. You don't have those gaps every week between shows like we did with Super as well. We had, an episode, and then everybody's waiting for next week's, and then we get that announcement that next week's episode is not coming. We have to wait a week, and there's been a couple instances where we had to wait 2 weeks for an episode. So, that is all said and done. Hopefully they keep this production schedule on point. And, they stay ahead of the game. In other words, they stack everything up, to the point where they can never fall behind. And then that's good for everybody. That's a win-win for everybody. Every week we get an episode, and it's all good. Now, the other question is, like, what arc are we going to start with? Like, the word on the street right now is that they're going to be skipping the Brawly movie. But that's a toss-up, because some people say that, they're not going to do that. They're going to jump right into the Galactic Patrolman arc. But then others are saying, no, wait a minute, because Toriyama, if you guys don't know, in the production of the Brawly movie, that movie had to be cut. And usually most people who are into movies or whatever know a little bit about behind the scenes type things. They're given, time constraints for the most part. They were given 100-minute time limit on this movie. So anything, they couldn't go over 100 minutes. Whatever else they had to cut it. And keep in mind, Toriyama was doing this. He had his hands in this movie. So Toriyama actually had over 70 minutes remaining of content. He had to cut out 70 minutes of content from the movie. So that tells me a couple of things. One thing it tells me is that knowing Toriyama, and this is his work, and you don't want to throw any Toriyama work out. You just don't, because his shit is usually good. You you don't want to just throw that out. So if they skip the Brawly arc and jump into the Galactic Patrolman arc, it's still okay because we saw the movie. But I'm wondering what content he cut. Like, I'm wondering, damn, 70 minutes? That's damn near another movie. That's an old Dragon Ball movie. Back in it, that's more than that. That's 2 Dragon Ball movies. You know what I mean? Back in the day, Dragon Ball movies were like 45 minutes. That was the length of the film. So he's got 70 minutes of content. He can take that. You know what you can do with 70 minutes of content in an anime? There one or two things could happen. He could take that content and he could, dive in a little bit more into the backstory or whatever he had left. And just take a different outlook on, the Brawly movie and spread it out over, the anime. Or he could completely cut it and maybe use that content for something later on down the line. Maybe like, slice of life episodes, or maybe, who knows, man, or maybe integrate that in a future, type of thing where maybe there's a special or something that he could do. Who knows? But I'm anxious to find out, and none of us are really going to know until we get closer to that release date in July. Now, everybody's saying that July 7th is like the magic day that is going to happen. And we'll see. I mean, it's not set in stone. We do know, and we only know for a fact right now that it is going to be the month of July 2019. Now, the day is kind of just up in the air right now, and I'm so sure when we get closer to that day will definitely be revealed, and I will definitely, announce that to you guys and keep you guys up to date with that. But I mean, I've heard enough. I've heard what I needed to hear, and Dragon Ball is here. It's coming in July, and I knew it was coming back, but that was never a question with me. It was just when. And I remember a long, long time ago, guys, a lot of you guys follow me, and I talked about this. I talked about how Dragon Ball Super isn't going anywhere, and everybody should everything's looking up. And, I knew that. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Just look at what's going on with the world of Dragon Ball. I mean, this Broly movie just coming out. I mean, all the merch and everything coming out. We got a new Dragon Ball game coming out this year as well, an RPG. It's crazy. The fandom is lit as fuck, and it's not going anywhere. So with that being said, guys, I mean, I would love to know how you guys feel about this. I'm sure you're excited about the Dragon Ball thing. Yeah, man. I mean, I just can't believe it. July. I mean, that's right around the corner. That is right around the corner. And I cannot wait to get back into, talking about episodes, every week on the podcast about Dragon Ball Super and what's been going on, man, and having these discussions, and even, having discussions on the YouTube channel and the Discord and all that, which is still on the way. I know I've been jeffing. I know I've been procrastinating on the Discord, but it is still coming. I also want to let you guys know that Beautiful Nerds is back in effect. That's right. www.beautifulnerds.com. Nerds is spelled Nurdz. Yes, sir. You can get your merch there, your gaming merch. If you're a gamer, nerd culture, if you enjoy anything nerd culture, man, you can get t-shirts, you can get hats, hoodies, beanies, backpacks, man. Check it out, man. Beautifulnerds.com. And it's back, man. New designs on the way. Yeah, man, I feel so good now that the store is back up and it's all love. You know what I mean? So yeah, just, check it out. And tell me how you feel. I'd like to know what you guys think. And if you have any suggestions on designs or anything like that, man, holler at your boy and let me know, man, so I can holler at my people and they can get that done. Anyway, that's going to do the show, guys. That's going to be it. I really enjoyed this episode because I got a chance to talk about some Dragon Ball stuff, and it's been a while since I had a chance to do that. It's really actually becoming more and more relevant, especially when July gets here. It's going to be stupid crazy. You know what I mean? It'll be like damn near a Dragon Ball segment pretty much every fucking, episode, after this. So, after July. So get ready, guys. It's coming. It is definitely on its way. I want to thank all the listeners who come in and download the episode or stream the episode each and every Monday or every week whenever you guys get to it, when you're going to work, when you're laying in bed, when you're exercising, whatever you're doing, listening. I appreciate you lending me your ears. To all the newcomers who are just chiming in, thank you guys for coming in here. Thank you for listening. And I hope to continue seeing you guys, and I hope that you guys continue to listen to the show. I'm glad and very thankful that you are here, and I love each and every one of you guys, man, especially the ones who've been down with me from day one and showing their support. All the people who, send me emails and comments and, tell me that they really enjoy, the podcast, and shout out to all you guys, man. I mean, without you guys, I'm nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just a guy who loves video games and loves anime and Dragon Ball. And I'm just like you guys, man. I just fucking, there's nothing special, man. I'm just me, you know what I mean? But I just enjoy talking about, these type of things. I enjoy talking about what I love to do. And, give me some free time. I'll show you a video game, or I'll show you an anime, you know what I mean? Or an awesome movie, you know what I mean? Or an awesome show, nerd shit. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, guys, I'm going to get up out of here. Join me next week, man, for another beautiful show. And I'm going to get my ass out of here, man. This is Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.